I think if you know what you're doing, you know how to scale, you know how to build them really well. I took a step back intentionally from it. My team actually built it. I wasn't even really involved into the build of the app to give them the credit. They presented it to me and I was like, effing yeah, I was like, this is awesome, let's do it.
Like, what is AI? It's just workflows. You're just systemizing and automating workflows, just better decision-making is happening because it can tap into your different data points. And if you can tell a workflow what to do, that is essentially an agent.
Communicating and keeping investors in the loop to a certain extent, just so they can be excited. You want them with action items. You want them cheering. You want them on the sidelines, like rooting and telling the world about what a great investment and what a great opportunity it is. And just didn't get that with this one at all.
No, you sound like a cartoon character. So we just need to turn you down just a little bit more.
Okay.
Can you just say hello, 1, 2?
Hello, 1, 2. Hello.
It's a good thing we're live right now.
I know, it is.
All right, well. Boys, happy summer. Men?
Oh, wait, we're going. So do we know the order? Is Amer?
We're just gonna go. We're gonna go. We're gonna swing it. No need to plan, John. In 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to the awesome pod where we talk a lot. Ecom is the path that we walk a lot. From 4 point of views when we're talking shop. Amer from the agency and Jimmy from SaaS. John has an Android, but give him a pass. Cause he's an operator building brands like a carpenter. And that's Bryan, he is the marketer. Like I said, this the awesome pod where we talk a lot. Ecom is the path that we walk a lot. From 4 point of views when we're talking shop.
What is going on? Welcome back to the Awesome Pod. And today we are back with another one of our digital series films. The truth is, we're all freaking busy. And this summer, we've had to kind of slow down on some of our travel. As some of you guys knew or did not know, we used to travel from location to location and shoot 4, 5, 6 pods at a time, which has allowed us to have some really great times and experiences. But at the same time, got a lot of crap going on in our life, unfortunately. So today we thought, we've been doing these interviews and bringing on some really cool guests. But today we thought we'd do something a little bit different. And a common question that all of us get pretty often in this market is, well, maybe like 1 or 2 people have asked, but it's enough people, right? What have you guys been doing? What have you guys been up to, right? Like, what are you guys doing? What is Jimmy doing? What's John doing? What's Bryan doing? What's Amer doing, right? Like, this is a question that we're going to go around. So today I thought we're going to do a little bit of a selfish but good fun update for everybody that everyone can get into. And John wants to give Amer only 2 minutes because he talks too much, but he's going to get 3 minutes to go ahead and share a topic. And we all brought 3 things that are happening in our lives. We're going to share about some things, maybe a lesson from each one of those topics would be a good way to end each one of those. So Amer, I'm talking to you specifically because you can't always hear me. Yes. When you explain it, you explain what you've been working on, what you've done, and one lesson that you learned from that experience that you've had this year that you want to share here about things that are happening. Does it sound good?
Let's do it.
All right.
All right.
Thumbs up.
Well,
let's go.
We're all good here. And, I realized I didn't introduce anybody, so we will do a quick round of introductions because it's been a while and I feel like I should do one. So we've got John Roman, the Android-loving survival king. You good, dude?
Oh, I'm good.
All right. We got a good mic check in here. We've got Amer Grasanich. He builds websites for Shopify. What's up, Amer?
What up?
He likes that title better than his old title. We dethroned him. He's no longer the Prince of Bosnia. All right. We've got Bryan McDonald, Mr. Unhinged LinkedIn man who causes anger and fights and tantrums and viral posts around that. What's up, dude? How you doing?
Hey, I'm here.
Cool. And my name is Jimmy Kim. For those that do not know, I'm kind of like the moderator, the host, and all that fun stuff with these guys. And I will lead this conversation here today. And let's kick it off. So, John, we're going to kick it off with you because you created this idea.
Sure.
So you might as well set the example, set a good example for Amer because we don't want him to mess this thing up. You know what I mean?
So just to recap for everybody, it's something we're working on, then learnings, takeaways from it.
Yeah, just like what are you learning or working on that you want to share and talk about? And then just like a little high-level lesson that you're taking away from all this stuff.
And you have to make it clear for me.
And it has to be clear for Amer because Amer gets confused a lot.
So my first topic is big surprise whatnot. For those that follow me, it's what I talk a lot about currently. It's because it's a new channel of ours, launched in April, and it's...
Hold on, can you explain to the audience what Whatnot is for those that do not know?
So it's a live selling platform. auction style. It's not unique in the sense that there's several in the space, right? Even TikTok Shop is playing around in it. YouTube, Amazon, eBay, everybody, and then some are testing these live shopping platforms. So
And
we
it's
went
live
with
video
Whatnot.
shopping.
What's that?
It's like live video
Live
shopping.
video
Not just live
shopping.
shopping,
So
but live video
it's the
shopping.
latest iteration of QVC, but it's with everyone in their ADHD brain, where they're not going to give 9 minutes to watch a product pitch. They want to know about a product in 20-30 seconds. So launched in April. We're in full scale mode. We've hired dedicated staff. We've promoted, we'll promote next month Cameron into the role of owning social selling in general. He was overseeing TikTok Shop. Now he's TikTok Shop and Whatnot. So we're in scale mode. So July, we every month we should be setting our new best month ever. Like that's the MO. We did 160K. And this month we're adding on. So we already have a full-time showrunner. We brought on some additional part-time showrunners. And we're adding a new host. So something in the second topic I'll hit. But we have someone coming on September 1 that'll be running at least 4 shows a week, at least 12 hours, which is a pretty big number.
How many hours are you selling right now full time? You're a full time guy.
So we don't have a full-time person for Whatnot, right? So we have 4 hosts currently. We're doing about 20 to 25 hours a week.
Okay.
So last month July, we did 90 hours total. We'll be probably in the 110 range this month. And we're hitting interesting part where now like it's saturation and do we need a secondary channel? It's a lot of fun growing, scaling. The takeaway and the learnings is I only have 13 seconds left is that with scaling, you have to just go, right? And you can't, operators and entrepreneurs love to like measure something a bunch of times and not pull the trigger. You gotta pull the trigger, and just know you're gonna make mistakes along the way. And we made our fair share.
Yeah, and what's exciting about this is as I learned about John doing this, and when we were at Sub Summit watching him kind of build that, we decided to put John on stage at Commerce Roundtable, and he's actually going to be doing a keynote talk around live selling. So if you're listening to this show and you haven't heard for some crazy reason that we've got this big show called Commerce Roundtable coming up, shameless plug here. But John will be on stage talking about exactly what he's doing, the methodologies, the videos, some results, and some data, really getting into depth on this. I think you get 40 minutes or something like that with 5 minutes of Q&A. So he's going to be on stage talking about that at Commerce Roundtable. So that's how much he's gotten into it, which is really cool as I've been watching from a distance as he's been going through it all. All right, let's... Oh, go ahead. I was gonna go to another person and we'll come back around.
I like
so
it.
People don't have to hear you talk for the whole
9
time.
minutes.
All right.
I like that. Good call.
We're trying to mix it up a little bit. All right. So we are gonna jump over to Mr. Bryan. I'm just following the order. You're not last, Amer. This is just the order of the paper. Okay.
Yeah,
Don't get butthurt about it.
None of the listeners will be
Bryan,
worried about that.
3 minutes starts now.
Okay, starts right now. I guess we'll just, what's fresh on mind coming back from SuperZoo. So obviously Oma's Pride, who I work for, a 4th-generation family-owned and operated raw pet food company. And we dove into the retail space a little over 2 years ago. And with that comes the availability of these trade shows, right? So we have our marquee ones through our distribution partner. We have one of those coming up next month during Battle Games. Unfortunately, I'm going to miss that, John, but those are an opportunity where stores are able to come, right? You're able to booth, show your new product launches, your new product sets, and stores are able to come and place an order with you. Now, those are the distribution shows. Those typically are more buyer intent, and your, big conferences and trade shows such as SuperZoo, where there's, 100, 200,000 people at. Same thing with Global Pet, which occurs in April down in Florida. Those more are for, I would say, what I've learned is
almost like a SaaS sales cycle, Jimmy, where, you know, we've been trying to get into some larger chains for a long time, right? Like spending years showing our new product sets, showing all the new margins we're opening up for stores. And, you know, it just so happens that in the freezer space, essentially, I relate it to SaaS because a lot of large retail chains only switch over freezers or add to their freezer once a year. So it's not like a something that you can, you know, oh, we got in a Target, right? That's not really a thing that occurs. It's a very, very long sales cycle. But SuperZoo gives you the opportunity where those head buyers and the executives from those large chains are attending and actually following up with meetings, because as they head into their next fiscal year, a lot of them are now doing the freezer changeover. So we were able to meet with two relatively large chains. I can't name them now, but you guys, I think I mentioned it to you guys before, but one of them has 700 stores and the other one has, you know, just shy of 80, right? So that's a good opportunity for us to get in to some large scale retail distribution while not getting into big box, right? These are still smaller pet stores at just a large volume scale of doors, right? So it was really cool to be able to meet up with them, have dinners, and ultimately like try to close and work on a deal. And that's what I took away from SuperZoo is I'm relating the big global type shows to SaaS sales, just because those accounts that you're trying to get into, such a long, year-long, 2-year-long sales cycle. And it was really cool to be able to see that come into fruition down at SuperZoo. But yeah, the trade show element, I mean, we're talking about like 10, 12-hour long days. Then you have to go dinner and drinks. Then you have to wake up
to play blackjack.
Then you have to play blackjack. Yep, Bryan went on a little bit of a heater.
That's kind of what all trade shows are like, though. I mean, I guess you're just now experiencing it at a different level.
Yeah, I'm experiencing it from the pet side of it, right? So the ammo industry was a little bit different just because of the time frame that I was in the ammo space, where POs were placed more frequently, and it wasn't as there wasn't as many different trade of hands, I guess I can call it, where you have your manufacturers, you have your large chain, small chain, independent, direct to consumer, you have your vets, you have all these different types of stores, where the gun and ammo industry, right, there's like 4 main players in the entire world, and, you know, they're all selling to the big players, which then distribute either to consumer or to storefront. So it was just a little bit different in regards to like what I'm used to in the past from big trade shows. Yeah, it was cool to see, but, you know, some of the people down there are a little wacky.
Yeah, so I have a quick question. I know we're at time for it, but so they're only making that decision on changing out freezer items maybe once a year. They're not all concurrently deciding that, or are they? Is it all like beginning of the year is when the decisions are made, or is it all over the place?
It's all over the place based on the store. So it's all, and it all comes concurrent too, based on, like, for instance, one of the chains that has 700, they were like, hey, 400, you know, we could get you in. Or it could be, it's all like, I would say like region by region and then player by player, all dependent upon how their structure works. And, you know, some folks in the pet space now are getting into more of an omni-channel experience, which the independent pet stores don't really appreciate. So a lot of them are pulling your large-scale omni-channel big box stores that are on Amazon, Chewy, PetSmart. They're like, well, I'm going to pull you, and if I pull you, that opens up freezer space for X amount of stores across this region. So a lot of it happens like that too.
So, question: pet people or ammo people? Who would you rather hang out with in Las Vegas?
I am actually ashamed you asked that question.
I know this answer too. I just wanted to hear it.
Ammo all day
I know,
long.
of course. They're crazy, right? They're a little crazy.
Some of these people...
saying, this is like if you want to hang out with people from Chicago or like any other city, you know?
Chicago, of course.
Amer. That's a good segue.
Of course.
Of Chicago,
Great.
of course.
Look at it. Of course.
Great
No
segue
brainer.
to Amer here. Let's see what
No, but
good stuff
a
he's
question
got.
for you. What's more competitive? Seeing that it's different, pet space or ammo space? I know they're different, but what's more competitive? Is it?
You can't become an ammo manufacturer, right? So your only real play is to acquire and grow like a large scale like distribution company, essentially, whether that's direct to consumer or that is to, like, you know, your niche gun ranges or your like big box, really. But yeah, it's to scale. You can't really scale and grow an ammo manufacturer, unfortunately, anymore. It's all monopolized. It's not even worth
Big
spending
players.
time on.
Sales tax stress, let Kintsugi slide. AI in your pocket, now enjoy the ride. 9 hours saved, that's time back in play. No tax guy needed, AI clears the way. Errors cut deep, not with this plan. 98.3%, my man. Click once, integrate, white glove, you'll see. Mention awesome, get 3 months for free. Sales tax headaches? Kintsugi AI turns tax chaos into something beautiful. The smart AI monitors, files, and optimizes your sales taxes automatically, saving customers 9 hours monthly while cutting errors by 98.3%. No expensive tax guy needed here. One-click integrations and white glove support. Mention awesome for 3 months free at trykintsugi.com.
Very cool. All right. Let's go to Amer. Mr. Amer, what's going on, dude? What's the first thing you want to talk about? Hit the timer, John. Hit the timer.
I hit it.
Hit it. I'm counting 1, 2. No, for me, it's we've already made a pivot, but we're going to make a harder pivot back to developing apps. As you guys know, I was involved with a couple of apps companies before. The way we did it before, they were very micro level apps that only expanded certain functionalities within Shopify. They didn't exist. Like, for example, one popular app that we had were product options that allows you to have multiple options in a product, where
I have like 12
Shopify-
of your apps installed at one point that I was using.
12?
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. That is crazy. Hopefully all useful, at
Yeah.
least at the time.
Glad we had them.
Yeah, good. But now what we want to focus on is really larger apps. Apps are going to give more diverse functionality at certain stages of a customer journey, whether it's like emboldening and empowering a checkout, what is emboldening and empowering customer service. And honestly, the biggest reason of getting this push, I'm not going to name them, as I never do, but I've had a ticket open with a company that plays in the subscription space. It is not Recharge, by the way, for about 8 weeks now. I've emailed them every single week. For 8 weeks, I have not received a response.
No response? Like, not like we're
No
working on
response.
it?
There's automated response that I received it every time. Nobody following up whatsoever.
Maybe it's sitting in someone's box that was terminated and they just didn't reassign or something.
I mean, if they are in the app space and they're using an inbox instead of a ticketing system, they do not deserve to have customers. Because
Hot
it
take.
Yeah, fair point.
yeah, like, you do not deserve to have. I'm
Just
sorry.
call them
it's
out
just
at this point. Let's just talk about it.
No, I'm not going to call it out. I know some people that invested into them, and I want them to get some money back from it. But these people do not deserve to have customers. I'm just going to go that far. So, but I've seen a lot of that more and more. I think a lot of SaaS companies are trimming a lot of workforce. They're running out of money, running out of a runway, trying to extend that cash burn. And I think there's going to be a huge opportunity for a lot of newer players to take bigger chunks of bigger sections of e-commerce, especially Shopify in this case, compared to the way it was before. So I'm excited about it. We actually have an app. It's up and running. We have a bunch of users. I'm not naming it right now because we're going to rebrand it. We actually have a rebranding meeting tomorrow, and then we're going to do a really, really hard push. Bryan is actually using it already. For a few things, but yeah,
you got to.
We'll keep you
Amer and his team are so, like, you guys are so good at developing, like, one of the best when it comes to naming apps. Yeah, I
that's why I'm rebranding it.
Yeah, I would outsource. I would outsource that for sure.
It's not an internal strength, huh?
No.
It is when right resources are being used. But when we are pushing, honestly, it was done intentionally like this because we want to validate the app to make sure it's market ready. We didn't want to put something out there and gets bad reviews. The reception of the community has been great so far with the people that have used it. So now it's time to level up and push real hard.
Love it. That's awesome.
So what's the lesson here?
What's the lesson?
Yeah.
Keep pushing. Don't get away from apps because I think it's
Don't get away from apps.
No, don't get away from apps. It's I think if you know what you're doing, you know how to scale, you know how to build them really well. I took a step back intentionally from it. My team actually built it. I wasn't even really involved into the build of the app to give them the credit. They presented to me, and I was like, effing yeah, I was like, this is awesome. Let's do it. And now we're going back to it, and I'm excited about it. Plus, I'm going to talk about something else that's going to make this even better a little bit later. But
He's teasing
that's kinda
us. Look at him.
Love
he
that.
moderates one pod, and now he thinks he can drop teasers on people. What do you guys think about this? All right. Well, I'll go now with my first one. So it was about a year ago when I was hanging out with you guys in Foxwoods, I think it was. Yeah, in the casino with the tub suite. I remember that, right? The tub suite. And I told you guys I'm starting some new businesses. And well, we're about a year into it now, and I just realized because one of my favorite social platforms, LinkedIn, has told me that it has been a year. I got one of those like, yay, it's been a year, magical, sparkles, fire stuff.
Do you know
like
what I
that.
remember about that?
What's that?
Us being in your suite and John Roman and Mr. McDonald being in a hot tub
That's
when
what
we
I
were
just,
recording this
yeah,
segment.
that's what I was just saying a second ago.
Yeah,
He never listens to me, guys.
Let's add some context for people that might not have seen that.
Not the one that had context.
Just to clarify, there was no water in the hot tub.
Correct.
Th-
We're close.
Mine and I were
Wrong.
fully clothed. We were both just sitting in there shooting a video. Just want to add context matters.
Yes, context.
Fully
does matter.
closed in the beginning.
Yeah,
we didn't see what
I
happened
guess
at
you're
the end.
right, John. If you say we were in the bathtub suite together, just hanging out,
Yeah.
it does kind of come in with imagination, and
But that's the point. Let's have some fun with it, Mr.
I don't know.
Defensive.
I don't.
over there,
I'm
by
not.
the way.
I
I'm
don't
not-
consider that
you know,
fun.
Yeah, that's
We're taking up Jimmy's time.
to each his own.
Yeah. All right. So going back to all of that, over the last year, I've been building multiple businesses. Somehow I've gotten my hand involved in a little bit of everything. I think I took last 10 years focusing and drilling down on a single thing that I was working on. And now that my wings are free, I'm able to go fly and go do a lot of different things. But, as much as doing a lot of things is fun, it's also extremely challenging of time management and being able to figure out things. And your mind share is like a little bit everywhere. And it wanders a lot, and trying to make sure you're compartmentalizing it and trying to figure out those challenges has been quite interesting. Now, again, I'm fortunate that I started this business pretty quickly with a very clear, concrete idea. For those that don't know, I've got 3 different businesses running right now. The first one being my media company, which is another podcast, a newsletter, course, media stuff. We do a little bit of everything. We sell space to alternative media to people. From there, the second thing that I do is that I also run a growth agency, and I've been empowering some large or medium to large size SaaS companies in this market, helping them go to market, use social media, use newsletters, use podcasts. Some of our sponsors of our podcast, for example, are clients of ours too. And then I've also did this whole thing with an event, what we'll talk about, called Commerce Roundtable. You've heard me talk about that a lot. I'll do a whole little segment on that because I think it deserves its own just because of all the learnings there. And then, so from there, on the side of that, I've also been building apps as well too, a little bit different than what Amer is probably building, but I have a different focus on some of the things that I want to do into the world. And, some of the learnings and the things that I've learned this year have been really interesting. So my first 12 months of this business, we'll do effectively about $3.6 million, which is pretty freaking good considering that we've had $0 invested in it. We're taking a full paycheck of multi 6 figures each out of the company. And also, we're only a team of 4 people. So, we've really understood what we wanted to build, and we got this thing going. And then in Commerce Roundtable, we'll do about $1.3 million too. So we'll effectively do $5 million the first year running out of the gate, which has made me really proud. However, let me tell you, no matter how many times you've built business, and this is my learning, no matter how many times you've built a business, and this is my 4th and 5th ultimately, man, those early days of all the little stuff and all the things that you forget you had to do, not only are they hard to remember to do, but they are actually hard to execute the most basic damn tasks that you might think were so easy back in the day. And they are really easy, but the learning curve of like going back and like, I don't know, setting up your operational HR stuff, man, that took me 6 hours in one day, right? Like all the paperwork that I had to do, all this stuff was been time drainer. And you forget that when I was in the other side of the business where operationally we're set up and we're just trying to grow and, productize, you think, oh, the early days are really exciting, and I can go back to those early days because I can build. But the reality is those you have a different version of those operational tasks that you've got to learn and do, and they burn a lot of your time. So it's been a really interesting year as I look back at this past year. And I think that, I'm proud of what we've been able to accomplish so far. And with that, we've got a lot of cool things coming up. My biggest thing, and I'll end it right here. My biggest thing that I have coming up right now, as this pod goes live, will probably go. But, you guys know I've been in this creative growth agency kind of phase. I have an app called joinmediaspace.com. That's the app. I'm doing the shameless plug right now. It allows B2B creators to connect with B2B creators to connect with e-commerce or SaaS companies to get social media posts, newsletters, events, and so forth. And it's a marketplace. So we actually acquired this off of these guys, Sam and Phil and Danny, about 3-4 months ago. I didn't like the way that, no offense to those guys that are listening to this, I didn't like the way it was built. So we completely rebuilt it, but we rebuilt it with AI over the last 4 months. That's the cool thing. We used Replit to rebuild this thing. We did not have a Vibe coding built it. We built it with real engineers. So there's a difference here, right? Because there's a structural database, authentication, there's payment gateways, there's a lot of real things that are happening. But they used Replit, and I was involved heavily, and I can see it every day as they're working on it. We used AI and one developer to rebuild what took them effectively 2 years almost to build the first time around, and we replicated in about 3-4 months to a working place. So we've just launched this. A brand new website just went up, and I'm excited because we're just at the infancy in what I believe is the future of media when it comes to B2B ultimately. So that's my 1 year update, hopefully in a nutshell.
It's a lot in a year though, dude.
It's a lot.
Yeah, we did a lot in a year. We've got like 2 more apps coming out, which is crazy too. So I've got my new thing is siloed teams, man. Like the biggest thing that I've learned about my management style, I can run 3-4 teams and just switch hats like this and just run it and say what we need to do strategically and move on to the next team. And that's been like how I've been operating all these businesses. Instead of like congregating everybody and trying to get them to do everything, I've just got core solo focuses. They're small teams, but I'm able to like switch hats and get into the gear and function and know all the details that are happening. And of course, you got to have great people too.
That's awesome.
So that's my 1 year update for those who are wondering what the hell is Jimmy doing these days. And that's what Jimmy is doing these days. A lot of stuff. And we'll talk about it more when we get into this next phase of more learnings that I want to share. But let's go back over to John now. I'm going to flip it back over to John. Let's talk about the Mr. Golden Ticket.
Yeah. So, what you were just talking about really resonates with what I'm about to say because, you forget about the early days of something and having to jump in and you're wearing all of the hats, right? A little bit of a hybrid approach here. So Battle Games is in less than a month, 3 weeks when this episode will drop. And not to get into any particulars, I'll share this information at the right time, but the person that is in charge of Battle Games, from the entire annual planning to boots on the ground, executing and running the actual event, resigned. And last day, when this airs, will already be gone. 2 weeks prior, 2.5 weeks prior to Battle Games. It's a full-time job. It's 100% more than a full-time job in the weeks leading up to the event. It's not enough time to hire someone, get them through an interview process, get them onboarded, have them resign from their last job and still make it to the event. So it's not a great spot to be in, just simply because can't hire anybody in time. It's too much of a full-time role to put on to someone internally because then their existing job goes away, at least momentarily for a month. So it's a really tough spot to be in. We're already past the point where we took sponsorship money. We've already let the 10 contestants know that they're winning and their travel is booked at this point, and they've made, life decisions to support being at the event. So unfortunately, what that means in situations like this, if I can't hire and it's not fair to offload all of it to someone, I have to own it. So, 60, 70 hours, whatever I probably normally work a week, throw a little 30 or 40 on top of that, for the next 4 weeks. So I'm going to be I haven't put in, I'll be honest, I haven't put in, 100, 110, 120 hour weeks in a while, but I'm going to for the next 4 weeks, which is absolutely brutal, but it's what needs to be done. Takeaway is, I'm big on culture. I'm big on how we treat our team and how our team interacts with each other, and we have fun. And I view, honestly, every team member as a friend. I would tell you, you guys know some of the wild stuff I've done for them that would arguably be way blurred lines of just being personal, good people, taking care of people, good situations. And then this happens. And it's just eye-opening that someone would be able to sleep at night knowing they were not just, putting me in a bad spot, but putting a whole company in a bad spot. It's just fun stuff.
It's lonely at the top, dude.
Yeah.
Yo, OmniSyn is back with some new swag. AI is now in the mix. Yeah, you heard that. Smarter and better. Let AI decide. Personalize every line. Take your brand worldwide. How about 24/7 support? MJ of basketball, but email to the sports. So sit back, relax, watch the magic unfold. Let the folks at OmniSyn get your story told. Tired of staring at blank pages? OmniSend AI doesn't hit you with writer's block. Their new AI writes your emails, personalizes content, and builds customer segments instantly. Just whisper who it's for, and AI figures out the rest. Join 125,000 users already winning with OmniSend's email, SMS, and push notifications. Backed by 24/7 amazing support, visit omnisend.com today.
It's lonely at the top. That's a lesson you learn over and over as an entrepreneur, and you will go back and trust the next person just as much, and hopefully it doesn't happen again. But I feel like getting burned is kind of part of it, and it sucks. But I'm sure you'll be a great director of content.
I'm gonna crush it.
You're gonna crush it. You'll get a quarterly bonus of $0 additional for doing your hard work. Don't worry. Welcome to being the boss.
Yeah.
But one thing that's big here, and I think I don't want it to be missed in all of this. And I think it's a great thing. And I get people who talk and brag about it. But the fact that you haven't had to do this for a long time tells you how good of people you have.
Have a great team.
Because if you were still doing that and this happened, this whole thing collapses probably, because you wouldn't be able to do another 40 hours on top of 120 hours. But I think it speaks volumes where the company is, what type of people you have, even though there might have been a weaker link that put you in this position. But ultimately,
yeah,
it's a blessing in a way.
No, you're right. So two takeaways, and I'll try to be short because we're at time. But one is, you're right. Like, I can't tell you how many people reached out. Luke, for example, and Luke's like, he wasn't coming to Battle Games, right? He's got a big family and a lot of responsibilities, and he was like, I'll be at the event. He's like, let me know what you need. Let me know what I can do. Let me know what I can execute. Walter is like, hey, so I'm guessing I shouldn't be coming in Wednesday evening when the event starts. He's like, do you want me to come in Tuesday morning and meet you there? And Patrick, same thing. Like, and the team is quickly coming together to accomplish it together. And then I won't touch on it now, but this experience has opened us up. We're in process, hired one, in process on another, and pretty close to taking the third one across the finish line of 3 new roles we're creating for the company that are taking this and making 3 different parts of it way, way, way better. So we'll be much, much, much stronger. In 6 weeks.
I could guess one is business development.
Yep. Director of sales already hired. Starts in 3 weeks.
Love that.
John and I've had talks about this. It's hard to sell. I mean, I've been selling this sponsorship stuff. That's all I do. Like, my life is selling people on things all day. So I get it.
No, you're right. That's the only one that's already across the finish line. Offer letter
that's
signed.
The most important one.
Can't wait.
Yeah. All right. With talking about selling things, we're gonna go over to Bryan, who has an update about his brand new media spend.
Yeah, boys.
So we started last month was our first month, and picture what a cold ad account looks like. Ours was freezing, and we just got some evergreen stuff up there. started to spend $250 a day, so very minimal spend. And this month in August, we just went up to $500 a day, which doesn't sound like a lot for those of you listening, may not, but for us, it is a whole lot bigger than the number 0.
I mean, that's $15K a month. That's not a small amount.
No, not at all. Not at all, John. So, I mean, we're, like, for instance, we're on, this is just with Evergreen as well, right? Because the development agency that we have, they're still working on the first offer that we're going to run, free treats for a year. So that should be done, hopefully soon, to run our first like offer. But now we're able to sort of see like what this looks like in respect to like net new customer spend, and what that attributes to revenue and subscriptions, and what product sets they're really diving to in order for us to be able to plot out and map out our production and all of our inventory. Because now that we removed, I can speak on this later, but we removed all 3PL out of where I am now, our warehouse location. So we have 3 3PL centers for direct to consumer. Well, we also have 12 that are either distribution centers through our pet food experts distribution company for retail, along with wholesale warehouses as well, right? So you picture, there's, I think, 16 now warehouses around the country that we have to have filled at all times. So what that does on the spend side of it, right, affects the production side of it. But the good news is we're on track this month, which is pretty cool, to hit around $45,000 in net new customer revenue. So really, really solid for $15K a spend with Evergreen ads.
So
now,
3 times.
Yeah, three X ROAS.
Yep. Right now it's sitting at like 292, I believe, 293 as of yesterday.
Step it up, Applo. 3 or better. Oh, sorry.
But this is just with Evergreen stuff, and like with the low spend as well, like playing around with like, volume bidding versus value bidding in regards to like our product, right? Because it's Adam and I are really starting to understand like how great our retention is, right, within the company for the subscribers. So, our average subscriber is almost with us a year, right? So it's not that much of a heartache to lose money on order 2 and 3. So right now we're in a pretty good position before we even launch any sort of offer. But, obviously with low spend, right, and Evergreen, we're hitting mainly middle of funnel people, someone that's either interacted with us or maybe purchased from us 2-3 years ago. Even though we have Klaviyo and our old customer base and all the apps integrated in order to sort of measure and attribute net new. But, as we start to spend more, we'll move further up that funnel, and these numbers are obviously not going to look the same the more we spend. But it's really cool to be able to see it come in, and then also like get everyone here on board in regards to, hey, this is what it really looks like, and this is before any offers are done, and this is before we've really put foot on the gas, which we have to do cautiously because like I said, the out of stocks in warehouses, right? So that was, I guess, like one learning is starting paid, launching the new website, getting 3PL distribution to 3 other warehouses, while also trying to scale retail all around the same 90-day period. Very difficult to do as you're your own manufacturer and it's a frozen good. So, we ran into out of stock issues in some warehouses, and, that becomes a headache because are you affecting a retailer? Are you affecting a direct-to-consumer customer with a $30,000 LTV? Who are you affecting and where? But ultimately, that's like the growing pains, right? Of not only starting paid, but starting paid at the same time that you're unleashing your, 3PL and your distribution out of your hands. So it's been like a very big balancing act, but something that we're excited about. So yeah, learning so far is really to spend more time on, especially as a brand that manufactures their own goods or maybe has not as many connections on the manufacturing level with co-packers, to really have all your ducks in a row, because you don't know really how things are going to unfold, after 30, 60 days of whatever spend you're giving. You don't want that growth to affect customer experience in any of your channels. And that's what we're doing right now. So really exciting stuff. Busy, but really exciting.
Oh, you're muted.
You're muted, Jimmy.
Jimmy, you're muted.
No, you're still muted. There
How
you
did
go.
I do that? I was going on a great rant, and I can't remember any of the things I said. So I think I said something like, "What a great update! It sounds like things are moving very well." And with that, let's roll right into Amer, and let's talk about AI.
Yeah, we're actually deploying or creating a chief AI officer in the company that's going to focus on everything AI, and I don't mean AI in high level, but
Alan
it's actually going
Iverson?
to. Yes, yes. The name of the role is actually Chao, CAIO. So our new Chao is actually
Isn't that Chai?
huh?
Isn't that Chai? CHAI? CHAI would be Chai,
I
not
think in
Chow.
Italian you spell it CAIO, Chao.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, I'm worldly, I know that stuff.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah. You've been all around the world. I get it.
but it's actually my old co-founder. He's been a little bit focusing some other things over the last couple of years, and working back in. He's actually going to have three big focuses. The idea is over the next few years, and not to hire anybody, but he has this really cool concept that I'm a big believer in, is how can we 10x everybody's productivity. So we're trying to now do a lot more with a lot less people, in a sense, as we're expanding. The biggest investment we make as an agency, really as any company, is the human capital. And when we talk about human capital, we want to maximize return on every single employee that we have. So his role is going to be building AI first tech. That's going to be step one. Step two is going to be actually making sure that tech that we use, not necessarily that we build, but that we like Cursor AI and some of these other platforms, that people are using it the right way, that we're educating, sharing that knowledge. And the third one is going to be, how do we take out operations and how do we streamline them using AI? What are these repetitive tasks that we can automate, that we can plug in AI into, make meetings more effective or efficient, so on and so forth. So I'm going to run one side of the business, focusing on business goals and business objectives. And then he's going to kind of from the backside look at what that is and figure out how do we streamline it
Okay,
and
so
make
you're
it
not.
easier in our team.
So when you first said it, I thought you were building like your first AI agent.
Well, no, we are going to do that as well. So
Okay.
that he's going to have three roles: building AI actually for us. Now that could be AI agent internally, or it can be an AI agent that we're using externally. There's a tool that you use that Bryan has been ignoring his emails called flyring.ai, shameless plug, that we're most likely going to acquire. Is going to be the first AI agent that we've been using for SEO, that has given us as an agency some incredible results.
So FlyRank is an agent doing a lot of it?
Yeah, that is an agent. Well, it's a managed agent. It's an agent, but then it has pieces of the human element to streamline a lot of the things that's
Interesting.
happening. Yeah.
I want
so there's
agents.
actually I'm sorry?
I want agents. I want a bunch of them.
Yeah, whole
You
bunch.
can have as many as you want, John.
Yeah.
You
What's
filled
so
me in
hard?
about them, Amir. They were just expensive.
It's
I
not.
don't
It's
I don't
workflows,
have the
like-
basic understanding. Like, how do I make an agent? Where do I host him? How does he just run on his own? Do I have to feed him? Is it like a Tamagotchi?
Is it you keep them at home?
We're gonna have to do a whole pod on this, because I think
yeah,
that there's
we should.
this is like a misconception where people like glorify what these things are so much bigger than they actually are, if that makes sense. Like, what is AI? It's just workflows. You're just systemizing and automating workflows. Just better decision making is happening because it can tap into your different data points. And if you can tell a workflow what to do, that is essentially an agent.
Oh, well, I already have. I want the autonomous agents.
Well, yeah, that's a dream. That's called AGI, and that's not real yet. Like that has not gotten to that point.
Well,
So
call me when.
you want servants that will come to you and say, "Oh, it's John's 10:30. It's time to make his coffee," and then run upstairs and get coffee and bring it back to you. But all technically, like,
Yeah, but
pretending
like on the but do
so
it.
yeah,
That's
not,
right. That's
not quite there yet.
Wow.
But agents today are workflows, really sophisticated workflows, to kind of dumb it down a little bit for everybody. It's not some magic that is happening where you're just like, I want to do this, and then something is like, all right, I'll do it for you, and then they just figures it out. You have to tell it what to do.
Right. No, I understand though, but like, Okay,
What-
so
So here's the difference. I think you're missing one piece. So workflows are automations.
Yes.
What agents do, they understand the context of those automations
Yes,
and
correct.
those
Yeah,
results.
there's a deep depth to it, of course, because it's
Yeah.
using data and information. Workflows just power through, where this is making decision trees. So it's like a complicated workflow, but it's still a workflow at the end of the day. That's all the system is doing.
okay, so I want an agent that is literally in all of our posts, all of our ads, constantly, and I would set the rules like within 1 to 3
so you
minutes.
Yeah, you have something scraped, follow your thing, take that and digest it into a spreadsheet or database, and then formulate the questions and answers that you want, and it spits it out, and you can have it shoot out to your Slack channel. That's not hard.
All right.
It's and it
Well,
does
make me
everything
copy it,
contextually.
What you can call it? It'll call you daddy. It'll call you whatever they want you to do, and it'll also. And Brian's
Brian just
interested now,
perked up a little.
But the reality is, yes, you can get it to do pretty cool things. The more you feed it, the more you teach, the more you allow it to do things and give you better descriptions. You can do whatever you do as an automated test. Now you've got browsers that are also agentic, so you can add browsers. What's that one that could with the one to see? Comet, I think it is. So you can actually have a browser that is so you could be like, when you're on a page and you're like, oh man, I got to uncheck these 15 things and you have to do it manually. You could just be like, hey, uncheck each one of those for me real quick and do the task and leave it in the background, let it run. That's an agent, right?
Okay, so I mean, I guess I'm using it for things like that. I guess I just didn't...
You have little agents, you just don't know. Like your chatbot is an agent. Like the thing you're chatting with and doing data analysis with probably is an agent.
Set a fire to your past, but don't panic or fret. Live Recover is here, they'll take care of the rest. No bots up in here, just real humans with trust. Whatever you did in the past, leave it back in the dust. Make conversions are rising like your ROI. 6x your revenue, and that's not a lie. Sales team in your pocket, day and night. Bringing in-store vibes to your site, that's right. Your abandoned cart is missing the human touch. Live Recover adds real people to your texts. Live agents who chat with customers in real time, driving higher conversions and sales recovery. Setup just takes 10 minutes. Connect, chat, and convert. Just like that. Visit liverecover.com today and let them know Awesome sent you.
Here's the big thing with AI that I think is a big misconception. AI is,
We're talking Allen
I agree with
Iverson?
you. Yes,
Okay.
Allen Iverson.
All buzz.
It is the answer. AI is the answer to all of our problems. But people feel when they start working with AI, you should know everything because it's artificial intelligence. The problem is you have to spend time training it just like you do an employee. And once you do, when you get those results, the investment is there. They will not disappear on me 2 weeks before an event. As an
She's pouring a little salt in the wound there.
God,
Well,
AI,
I mean, that's
Your
that's
people,
the
your
thing.
people are
And
lethal.
then
Training
as
is
these new
just,
versions
again,
come out.
training it in the manner that you're telling it and giving it the logical steps. There'll be things that you need to help it understand, but all you're doing is like, I always use the workflow because it's easy for a human to conceptualize. What does the workflow look like? If, else, yes, no, this, that, this data pool, whatever, right? Like it's just a trend. You're basically taking that and adding intelligence behind it where it's got better thinking and analysis and it can get open around things. So it is a little bit of a buzzword though. I just want you to understand this is exactly what people fall under is like they think that there's more and it's magical and they've got fucking Terminator over there, being a robot and stuff. That's not really
the best thing. The more you can feed it up front to understand what you want, the easier it is to mold it. I think what a lot of people do, they start with this idea and they try to build it as they go. That is the biggest mistake you can make. Sit down, plan it, inject
So I guess
information.
all of these embarrassing amount, I think I have 10 different GPTs, custom GPTs that I've created. Where
Those are agents.
I've fed it thousands of things, and all initially building it exactly how I wanted. I guess they're all agents. Just the
That's it.
automated part I haven't figured out yet.
Getting it to run and do tasks
On
and
its own.
do it on its own, that's when you become an agent, right? It's automated. It's a workflow.
Yeah.
But you need a trigger and an end result, right? So as long as you think like that, that's all it is. That's why these companies like Zapier and Make and all these guys have
That's
now...
all they're doing. They
agentic
are the
platform.
automation.
Yeah, they're agent creators now because that's a death of what they do now.
And the best thing is going to be is when you get these agents to talk to each other. that's when it becomes really
Do they really
valuable.
talk in that funny voice? They're like, I've noticed you're an AI agent. I am too. Do you want to switch to? And they said something. And
No,
then
no, that's
No.
100% social media.
they, here I'm talking
Uh,
about it, right?
No, but
I know Bryan
I
knows.
train my agents to think they're humans. They don't even think they're
Ooh,
artificial.
okay.
Yeah.
All right,
Amer.
Jimmy, you're up.
That was a wild random tangent. All right. So my second learning that I have this year is a lot of learning around events. So as again, the audience may or may not know, I acquired Commerce Roundtable from my previous company, SendLane, when I exited as part of my exit package. And I acquired Commerce Roundtable, which was this event that we had started 2 years into the 2 years ago or 3 years ago. And we started it because we wanted to create an event. And instead of creating a typical corporate company event, we created a different, unique event that kind of comes to its own life. And it became a really great community event led by the community. And we realized that because I have a voice in the community, we could attract the people into it. So this past year, we've done events and we've done one, and then the second one's coming up. So we did Miami this year and we've got San Diego coming up this year. And there's been a lot of things that I've learned around events. Number one, the event business is kind of like just flat out, like it's not the greatest type of thing. It's weird because I was telling someone today, I was like, it's stressful until it happens. And when it happens, it's still stressful at the end. You get the euphoria feeling when it's over. But as soon as the euphoria feeling fades in 48 hours, you're stressed again because you're back to zero. So it's like a giant ramp up, explosion, and then nothing.
I have a question for both of you. I guess, John, you're going through this first, and obviously you've done it many times, Jimmy. It is like reminding me of a Super Bowl. Like it's like a season. You're working your entire year for this one moment, and you got to deliver.
I mean, that's you have one moment to deliver, and that's it. That's correct.
When does a trigger happen when you're like the day after, where you're like, okay, I got to get going again? Because you can't lose time with events. You got to kind of build on top of the success of the previous event.
That's definitely been a learning of mine this year about like the success of energy and rolling and momentum, and why, if you've ever been to a trade show, I'm sure when you're at SuperZoo, Bryan, didn't they come up to you and ask you if you'd like to renew next year's exhibit?
Everywhere.
They do that for a reason.
Yep.
And I've learned that, and I have not been good enough at that. And so now this year I have to be better at that, right? So, there's a lot of things that I've learned about it, but it is fun. For me, a lot of this is the creative energy that I'm allowed to use when I'm creating a trade show is a lot of fun. Allowing myself to have no boundaries and do what I want until the dollar boundary comes in, which is when the budget shows up. I at least start off with a very open palette around the things that I want to do. And I'm not doing anything revolutionary. I think that I just come up with good, fun ways to do things, right? Like, here's a perfect example. And I'll kind of, this is a lesson and a thing that I learned. And hopefully as other people do events or people who are doing things may learn something from here. Tech and agencies are the reason events happen often. There's sponsorships, there's different people that pay for these things. But at the same time, brands or the audience ultimately doesn't always want to hear about pitches. They don't want to be sold to on stage. They want to come for an experience and different things. And so it was about, a couple months ago, maybe 5-6 months ago, I went to a different event, non-ecommerce related. It was a creator event. And they did something really interesting on stage. And what they did was, instead of having sponsors come up on stage and doing a 30-minute talk or sitting on a panel or doing a guest interview of their thing, they basically let them come up for a 5-minute pitch between sessions. And during that session, the way they kept the audience hooked in was by giving them gifts, giveaways, prizes with raffle tickets that they had on their badges already. And I was like, that's it. We're going to change the way that ecom works a bit. So number one, this big change that I've done is now every keynote, following a keynote or before a keynote, there literally will be something giveaway. I'm not giving away like small crap either. Like I'm giving away like, we're going to keep it D2C centric. So we're going to give away original grain watches, or we're going to give away Hexclad pan sets. We're going to give away Ridge, whatever, or we're going to give away, whatever it might be, whatever I can go find that I think is really cool that people might go. And of course, we'll still do like the Apple MacBooks and the iPads and, some travel and vacation. But we literally are putting a budget behind that just to go do that. And so that's the way I'm trying to figure and fill that out. Then the second thing I took this year that I've taken a big chance on that I believe is going to work well is I kind of killed most of the panels. I think at CR this year, I've only got 2 or 3 talks that have more than one person on stage. all of it are hard-hitting keynotes, because what I've learned is this: panels are entertaining, but you don't learn. Keynotes are teachings because there's a single person with a PowerPoint, a slide, an intro, middle, and exit, and they're teaching people what they're doing and how they're doing it. And I realized that we went all to panels again because we're trying to fulfill this sponsorship side of things. So I took a big balls chance this year and I said, screw the tech companies, not in a literal way, but screw the way that they've wanted to do it. Let's do it in a different way. And honestly, it's been an absolute hit. In fact, most of the guys are thankful that this is what they have to do instead of being committed to a 30-minute talk where they may or may not sound smart or stupid. Instead, they literally are going to come up and say, hey, I'm Omnisend. We're an email and SMS company that services e-commerce, has 150,000, blah, 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 blah. Who wants to win an iPad? It's so easy. Yeah, exactly. And the only stipulation is you need to be in the audience in order to win. Yeah. You can't be on the patio because you won't get to be there on the ticket because you'll have a 30-second shot clock when your ticket is called.
Can speakers win? Can I win? I want to know.
I think anybody can win except, well, I don't know. I haven't really, guess what, John? It's my event, so we can just kind of do what I want. So I'll decide how we do.
I don't have to win
that day.
That's fine.
Another good reason of actually owning something too. But, honestly, though, a lot of learnings with events this year. I'm excited for this show. Next year, we're doing San Diego, Austin, and Miami. So we're now expanding to 3. But I have learned how to make money in this business. And I've learned that I'm going to take project management internal because I've saved a lot of money already starting to move that element. So I'm going to hire one person and also bring project management internal, which will ultimately save me money and even have better control of the situation, because I've learned I'm a great smoozer, I'm a great salesman, I'm a great negotiator, and I've been able to go out and find my own vendors and work them out. And, well, they're great as long as you know how to vet them and you don't need a trusted partner who's going to hook up their buddy pal who does it at this full rate and then screw you in 5 days. And no shame to agencies. They're there to help you and all that stuff. But the reality is like, if this is going to be our full-time business, I can't rely on partners like that. I got to own it in-house.
Yeah, you and I going through that the other day, like some of the costs for stuff, it's just wild.
Oh, yeah. I saw John the cost. It was like $650,000 a quote. And I was like, I cut this down to here at $423 now. I took a vendor out. I took this out. I bought this part out. I did this part out. I went and took my own dinners and lunches and this. It's a movement of hands, basically. There's a lot of hands in, and the idea is to smack them away as much as possible along the way. But it's incredibly hard. And yeah, I could probably run this event way cheaper if I wanted to, but then there's an expectation of what I want the experience to be, right? I mean, I paid a lot of money, a 6-figure check to Gary Vaynerchuk to be at our show, for example, right? Like, that's not normal. And I took a huge thing because I sat at a table with Nick Shackelford and decided that that's what we wanted to do in Miami. And here we are, and it'll happen as I've sent in my second wire already. We are gonna have Gary V, right? Like, I don't know, man. Next year I'm gonna have to get Will Smith or something. So
hey, Amer or Bryan, we should get some. I know there's a couple of Topps Gary V cards.
We gotta get
maybe
something.
some V Friends cards. We should get some, buy some, and then like, I don't know.
Get him to sign him or something.
I got a few from the net.
Okay.
Huh?
Will you shoot me what you got? I'll go buy some too.
Yeah. No, you guys should do some stuff. I think that'd be fun. And, obviously I know the guy who runs it, so we can get you in there. So.
Yeah. My turn.
Back to John. All right. I know we're way over, guys. Does anyone have a strict time right now that they can't go like 15 over?
I can go about 15 more, but I
just want everyone to say who was right about this.
You can drop off if you want to drop off, but
no, I'm good. I'm good. I just knew
Bryan, you got to run.
Yeah, I have to be there for 5. I can stay for like 5
Bryan,
minutes. But
tell us your 3PL and then bolt, and we'll run the rest of the show. Don't worry.
All right. So mentioned before about 2 months. I think it's been about 2 months now. Our fulfillment moved from in-house to out-of-house. Right, it was the only way for us to scale. As much as I've thrown shade at 3PLs in the past, it was an opportunity for us to not only scale, but also save. So the 3PL partner that we have is with all the heavy hitters, your Farmer's Dogs, We Feed Raws, Fresh Pets, all the big players in the frozen pet space. And there's 3 distribution centers that we're in, California, Indiana, and now New Jersey. And we had to slow launch those with like 2-week intervals. So New Jersey launched first just because it was the easiest lever to pull because it's right down the road from us. So cheapest one to fulfill and test and all that. And that attributed to most of our population of direct-to-consumer customers, which is on the East Coast. And then California opened up. So California opened up strategically so that way we can hit all the West Coast customers. And then Indiana just officially launched, not this past week, but the week before. And what Indiana is going to do is allow those people like in Jimmy's corridor all the way through Florida to get their packages within 2 days. So for the most part now, all the lower 48 zip codes, 97% will have with a 48-hour delivery window officially as of the week prior. And the cool thing is this, the founder of the 3PL, frozen 3PL that we went with is the founder of Hungry Root. You guys heard of Hungry Root before? So he, cold chain logistics is like his thing. And they utilize a lot of like local regional carriers in order to think of them like a DoorDash in a sense, just at a larger scale. They'll pick up an order from FedEx and then deliver it to your door. And by utilizing those carriers, we're able to save around an average of 17% per shipment. So there's been a cost savings element to it, as well as like a whole restructuring of how we like ship out packages, right? Because before we just shipped out every day, no matter when you ordered, we shipped it out. So setting the customer expectations took a little bit of time. But now that we're all set up, now we're really, as we grow with paid and our meal plan that Prella built out, it's going through the box optimization, right? So in frozen, you can't fulfill anything over 49 pounds. Well, dry ice typically averages 10 pounds when you put it in. Liners, box, etc. You're looking at another 4 to 6 pounds. And, that leaves you with 35, maybe 34 pounds of food, which isn't a whole lot of food, right? So not box optimizing could cost you, and you could lose your shirt, cost you a ton of money. So we figured out, hey, we need a bigger box right away. So we went through an exercise just to like stop the bleeding, essentially. We knew that we had to get one bigger box because we had a lot of orders that 90% would go in one box, and then you'd have 10% go in the other. And we had a really good breakdown. I don't know if this is going to be shown on, are we releasing this video, Jimmy, or?
Yeah. We'll have always video on YouTube. So
okay.
If you want to share a screen,
yeah.
go for it.
So the cool part is like going through this and seeing like, all right, let's look at all the multi-shipped packages. And then from there, so
you're not sharing anything right now if you're trying to.
Oh yeah, I got to hit the share button. That would help.
Yeah.
Classic. Classic Bryan.
There you go.
So we had our team essentially put together a summary across all the warehouses of how many shipments contained multiple packages, right? So here's a collection based off of the past time that we launched in Edison, in Indiana, and then ultimately out in California. So we're able to see, hey, what are like the common orders that we can sort of account for in order for us to move up to the next big box size? How many orders does that consolidate now from 2 boxes to 1? So they do a really good job with this, like summarizing all the things that we need on our end to make the decision on if S14, which is like a 14 by 14 inch box, if here are all the number of products in it, here's the volume, here's how many shipments are in, here's the average weight. We were able to compile all this data, our offshore team, and then essentially like make the determination on what next box size to bring up. And just bringing up the next box size is going to save us, like $20-something thousand, right? So now you're looking at a $20 to $23 average ship cost between dry ice shipping cost and then the box. So imagine eliminating that per order. That opens up your margins. It gives us more room to play with in the paid space and ultimately makes us more profitable on first order. And that was an exercise that when we moved to the 3PL, we had to get it all set up for us to really understand it, because here we were just focused on getting the packages out the door. So moving it out of the company, like opened up our eyes. A good learning was when you let someone else do something that you're not good at, it leaves you more time for you to do stuff that you are good at. And I think that was like a big like hello moment for all of us, is thank God we don't have to ship out these packages anymore. Now we can really get in the weeds and figure out how to expand those margins. And ultimately, obviously Jimmy knows he's a bad example because he has a bunch of dogs, but it's not a good experience too if you have one dog and there's 2 boxes showing up on your doorstep, right? So experience is better. It opens up the margins. People are getting their food faster. And it's just good to let someone else do something that they're good at instead of trying to do it all. So.
Oh. Yeah, that's a good lesson. I'll share real quick. I think something really fun that just happened recently for me, which was like kind of opened up my eyes. I got a message from DoorDash yesterday and it was like, your delivery's on the way. And I'm like, what delivery? I didn't order anything, right? So it turns out I ordered these things called Built Bars, and they're like chocolate protein bars that I order, and I really love it. Well, the problem that I hate about ordering them right now, because it's freaking hot as crap in Texas right now, is when you order them, they melt in the box
Chocolate.
and they get whatever. Well, they must have some kind of weird partnership with DoorDash now, where they must be delivering to a local facility, and then DoorDash is actually delivering the last mile to me and dropping it off. And I actually got them, and they were perfect. For the first time ever, I had these bars in a perfect state, and I love them in a mushy state. They're even better when they're in a perfect state.
That's
and
awesome.
so I think that your story is a perfect example. Like, innovation is happening, and 3PL isn't an innovation step for your business just because it's allowing you to alleviate the work that you're doing on an area that you weren't that great at anyways, letting someone do better and probably end up spending similar dollars or even less ultimately, and you're getting a better experience out to the market. So
For sure.
yeah, kudos to you on that.
All
right, cool.
right, guys, I'm going to go pick up my children.
All right. Well, we'll see you, Bryan.
Peace and love.
All right.
Hi, Ryan.
Let's go back here to to John. Damn it, we could have had Bryan for this part of the segment.
Really
but
wanted Bryan for this.
I know, but I'll play the Bryan for you.
I'll step it up on Ash too.
No, so at the end of the day, you guys all know what the topic is. I'm not going to name names.
Name him.
But there's a strong possibility I'll go public with the name. So the topic's investments. So in the last 10 years, I've made probably about 30 investments at this point. BattleBox being one of them, right? BattleBox was one of my initial 5 that I made that obviously turned out very, very well. A lot have turned out well. A lot have not turned out well. In the 10 years, though, every one I learned more and more and more. This one in particular that you guys are aware of, in my today, my investment thesis, I would have never invested. Wasn't crazy about the valuation. And wasn't crazy about some debt that existed. But
even the vehicle that the raise was done was not the most favorable for you either, right?
correct.
It was like SPV or something.
Yeah. So, I wouldn't have made the investment now, but 4 years ago or 3 years ago, whenever it was, I made the investment. It was also the smallest investment by a lot that I've done. I would say in the last 3 years, it's the smallest by like several times. Anyway, made the investment. They have a decent social following. They've now gone public that they got acquired. Shot them a text message, told them congratulations, asked what the ROI was going to be. Fair ask. And they quickly replied, nothing. And, I said something along the lines of, well, recapping what they wrote, this is a great ending of the story. I was like, it's not really a great ending of the story if you're saying the investor doesn't get even their investment back. And then it somehow got spun that I'm a bad person asking for an update on an ROI when you're announcing, and I'm hearing publicly that you were acquired, not told, like traditionally would be done. Investors probably should have a heads up. The stuff is going on. And it's interesting because in the 3 years or however long of the investment, there's only one piece of communication the entire time. Jimmy, you and I have chatted about it at lengths. Like, you and I have game plan about like what quarterly updates look like, and like communicating and keeping investors in the loop to a certain extent, just so they can be excited. You want them with action items. You want them cheering. You want them on the sidelines, like rooting and telling the world about what a great investment and what a great opportunity it is. And just didn't get that with this one at all. And now they've doubled down, tripled down on like posting public stuff like this is a big win. And it's just super, super interesting. And I mean, it's just further validation that so many of the ecom bros are just total dirtbags.
I don't think that's the right word for it. I think
Okay.
it's just a lack of, it's an immaturity problem. That's ultimately what
And
it
maybe
is.
that's it. This is a very young entrepreneur.
Yes.
Very young by, average mean, age mean. So maybe it's that. Maybe it's naivety. Maybe they don't know any better. Maybe
They
it's
just don't know better. Like, honestly, they just don't know better. That's really the answer in most cases. A lot of growing up to be done.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. If you take money from somebody and you think, I don't care if you're 18, 24, 30, that you're not going to give any money back to that person, you would think you would have a private conversation with that person
Prior
to say,
to the
hey,
announcement, I would.
Yeah, prior to the announcement.
At least a thank you, right? Like,
Yeah.
hey, thanks for investing. Unfortunately, because of
Didn't
X,
work out.
Y, and Z, it didn't work out. I think my only feedback to this, I know we're not naming names, but people are watching are probably going to figure it out anyways. But the only thing I didn't really love is like, there's a real story and there's a real story, right? And the story they're telling the market, they're really puffing their chest in some ways where, honestly, it was a failure. And I don't mean that in a negative way, but it wasn't the outcome that you wanted ultimately and you planned and dreamed of. So to celebrate something like that it's kind of strange. I would have probably come into it in a world of honesty of how hard it really was and the learnings that I've learned and ultimately what I was able to get out of it so I can take myself into the next step in my journey of life. And there's a better way to have handled it. I think you're mostly upset because of the way that how he handled it there and then how he's gloating on it on social media about
100%.
Yeah. There's a humility that they could have and that it would have came out just as great.
Yeah.
There's
Even better.
nothing wrong. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with failing. That's like
No.
what I don't understand.
Yeah.
It's nothing wrong if you gave like this is what my dad told me when I started got into business. Word for word, he's like, just do me a favor, whatever you do, whomever you work with, make sure when you see them in the street, you can cross the street, shake their hand, and look them in the eye, because that's all you can control. Everything else, like you can give 200%, you can work 120 hours a week, and the cards are not going to be dealt in your favor. It is what it is. You pick yourself up, you move on. But this whole thing, like, let me hide my failures or mask, grow up. I don't care if you're 18, 24, or 44. I failed. I've told people the story. I've slept on my parents' couch. I drove Uber after hours to make it. I've eaten sardines for 3 months out of a freaking can before I was vegetarian. And I failed all those businesses. But I picked up every single time. And it's okay. It's not, your failure doesn't define you. How you respond is what makes you a failure or not. And I will say this, whoever this person is, they're a failure because of the way they responded. And that's what happened, the fact they couldn't scale a company.
I think you're spot on, dude. I think Jimmy, you nailed it too. That's the what I'm triggered about is the response to me, as if I'm a bad guy by asking about my investment. When I'm finding out about the acquisition for the first time. And the second thing is it's like, why do that? Why behave in that way? But maybe it's a maturity. It's just an
It's a maturity and it's arrogance and it's a little bit of lack of self-confidence, right? They need to boost themselves up instead of just be honest and, about it. And they were afraid of how their image may look in the market. I'm sure there's a little bit of everything that comes into play. Not saying that it's right, but I try to always play the devil's advocate and say, what is the other person thinking about on their side?
No,
it is, but it's like, again, this is people like, we don't know. Like, that person doesn't know. Maybe they do. I have no idea. But like, if somebody wrote you a $5,000 check or $50,000 check, that could have been their life savings. And they said, you know what? I believe in this person and I'm going to put this investment into them.
Yeah.
The least you can do is say, hey, thank you. I'm so sorry this didn't work out, but I promise you gave it my all.
Yeah. That's
Totally
it.
take-
That's
I
all it is.
understood
Because
the
look,
risk.
we know that money's going to fail, and that's part of being an early seed
It is.
investor.
that's part of the model. Yeah.
It is.
But
it is.
the how you handle it, and if he's ever going to get a second chance check from John ever again, which is the answer is no, most
Right.
likely at this point, unless he builds the next like open AI, and maybe even then he'd be hesitant. But like, let's face it, it's not going to happen anyway.
Right.
So, yeah, I get it. All right.
I hope they hear this, pick up the phone and apologize.
Yeah,
That's the least
probably
they can
not.
do.
Probably not going to
Oh,
happen.
yeah. All good. All right. Amer, let's go to you here with what you wrote here. You wrote restructure.
Yes. So I try to look at this every 12 to 18 months, but right now it kind of happened a little bit more naturally with my co-founder Alan coming back and the things he was working on, kind of enablement of AI, not just for us, but for the entire ecosystem and beyond. One of the things I started to do is look at who's working on what and have we drifted away from our KPIs and goals for that individual, that department, and for the company as a whole. So what I've been trying to do, and it's honestly, it's a very, very hard exercise. For sales department, it's easy. You got to sell X amount, whatever those are KPIs. But when we're talking about, developers output as an example, it's a little bit of a hard measurement. There's a lot of subjectivity as much as you want to be objective with it and things like that. So what I decided to do, something a little bit different that I've done in the past, is I'm going to assign KPIs to each leader in the company that are aligned to support the company initiatives and goals for short and long term, and tell them, you come up with KPIs and expectations for the rest of your team. You're going to answer to me. I only care about your performance, but your performance is going to be an echo of your team's performance. So this way, I'm not involved into the weeds. I want to push leadership, and I just like middle management. And I want to see who's going to be able to develop the team, who's going to bring on innovative ideas, who's going to really kind of take more of this autonomous or this autonomy or this freedom by the horns and really do something amazing with it. I know it's going to be easier for some people, harder for some others. But I think for us to take a leap as a company and continue to grow, I think it has to happen at this point because I can't replicate only certain individuals or myself or whatever the case is. It has to be good humans with a great process, and they have to blend in together, and one has to go to another. And one of the big things, and it's been on my mind for a very, very long time, it's somebody that I think is like publicly very quiet compared to a lot of other founders, but Jeff Bezos had a great thing that has stuck with me for a very long time. It's been back in my head. He said, when I meet with leaders in my company, we discuss ideas. I'll have one idea, they'll have one other idea. But he said, the more older I grew, the more I realized, the more I forced my idea, the less successful the company is, even though my idea might be right. Because if Jimmy pitches me his idea and I say, no, Jimmy, you're wrong, we're going to do it my way, Jimmy is never going to believe in what I'm saying and prove what I'm saying as much as he's going to want to prove himself. So it's like, okay, me as a company leader, I want to take a step back and say, you're going to bring that idea. I'm going to challenge it, but I'm going to double down on you. I'm going to support you, but it's your idea. You're fully responsible for it, and you've got to make it work. There has to be that accountability piece to it. And that has been in the back of my head for a very long time. And I really want to be an enabler of positive affirmation, positive support, positive consequences for my team, and really try to figure how to navigate that while scaling and running an organization.
That was good. It was very deep over here.
Yeah.
Amer has lots of thoughts here. Been quiet over there in the suburbs of Chicago, haven't you?
Leave my Chicago alone.
Jimmy, take us home, man.
All right. And to finish off, I guess the world that I talked about is I'm working on this year in playing a lot of the things that we've done in media with the launch of Media Space, the things that I'm working on. I see a bigger picture of what I'm creating and the distribution engines that we're creating. So I would say the last thing that I've been really brainstorming and working on this year is how do I continue to make this thing bigger and better? And how do I start bringing in the different pieces to them? So, in the background, I'm talking to some other companies about merging potentially. I'm talking about bringing everything together. Again, I look at that idea that I'm working on a lot of things and I think about, hey, I do a lot of the same things in different ways and overlap in different ways. And one of the biggest things that I learned this year was that with Commerce Roundtable, I was finding myself selling both products, a growth package with Commerce Roundtable because I was leading people to Commerce Roundtable. Hey, my audience comes here. This is the market that we attract. I can get you in front of those people with a sponsorship, but let's do all this stuff in front of it to create distribution energy so that when they come there, it's not, who are you? It's, oh, I've heard of you, right? And so for me, this year has been a lot of ideas of brewing around how to really continue to put my feet into media. I know that I am technically the SaaS guy here, but like, I feel like a lot of my life has become a media guy at this point over the last year, and I'm transforming a bit. And I never thought I would be a media guy, but reality is I'm pretty good at it. So I should probably keep working on it. So, there's a lot that I'm working on. I believe in the future of B2B is evolving. It's no longer cold calls, cold emails anymore. It is social proof. It's real engagement. It's influencer driven. It's a lot of these things that are happening in this market. And I think that that is really where the future is going. And I'm investing heavily into it. I'm building this marketplace. I'm launching this. I'm hopefully acquiring or merging some things together and building up something even bigger. So ASOM included. ASOM is part of the Commerce Roundtable umbrella here today, and this may become part of the bigger umbrella that we go into. But all of that is TBD. But, you know, the back of my thought and the hypothesis that I continue to have is that if you can own distribution, it's the one thing that AI is not going to be able to replace is distribution. And you can distribute software, you can do apps, you can do human elements, customer service. Distribution, aka traffic, is the reason why even Meta or TikTok or any of these places are going to continue to live, at least for the near future, at least for the next 5 to 10 years. And I want to really be on the forefront of a lot of that stuff. So that's probably the thing that I'm last excited about. And to me, that is my big swing that I'm taking into this market right now, is that I believe that there is an opportunity in this space. And, you know, there's some dollars that I've already seen out of it. And I think that there's a lot more dollars that I can go get from it. So that would be it.
I think you nailed it with the distribution piece. You know, you look at Meta from a brand side, and the fact that, you know, 10 years later, all these brands, these D2C brands, are the majority of spend is still Meta, right? Yet everyone wants to complain about Meta and talk about how they hate its dependency. But at the end of the day, all roads lead back to Meta. Why? Because of their distribution, because of their audience. You can just reach so much more, and there's so much value. That has been the magic power.
Yep, that's it. That's it. It's kind of crazy. Yeah, it's the magic, and it's the distribution engine that they've created because they've amassed the customers or the users on their platform.
That's been their moat.
And I think when people start to realize that that's what matters most, like you can create the coolest, best things in the world, but if you don't have distribution to get it out in front of anybody, there literally is no way to win that engine, that race.
Since I met you and you started talking about it, one of my most overused words has been distribution. But the most important thing is to separate marketing and distribution. Distribution is not marketing, and marketing not distribution. And I think sometimes people, you know, really confuse that. Like Meta is not necessarily distribution, it's more marketing. Distribution is more how do you acquire customers without spend? What is the reach that you have?
That's not what I don't agree with you on that. I don't think it has anything to do with spending. Distribution is being able to market to your target audience, regardless if it's paid or not, having an ability to do that, which is not easy always to have a perfect target audience.
No, I'm not saying it's easy, but I think with if you're starting a brand and you're starting with distribution and your way to scale is spending money constantly to acquire it, it is in a sense paid distribution. Like I get that thing, but my thing is distribution by itself. Like for me, when I look at the product, like for example, with the apps that we're building, for me, the distribution is I talk to 300, 400, 500 brands for free every single year, if not more.
So
it's free distribution.
Yeah. Well, what you're saying though, so the problem with what you're saying is arguing marketing. Well, then, why don't I spend that $100,000 on Snap instead? Why? Because they don't have the distribution. Because they don't have the audience, right? Like it's not the same.
No. What I'm saying is, though, like with business, I think if you have a model for free distribution, you have connections. So here's my thing.
That's always an answer. If you can get free traffic, of course it's the best.
Yeah, but let me use this as an example real quick. What I love what you're doing, Jimmy, is you have people that will start, for example, a D2C business or an agency and then go and start an event, as an example. What you're kind of multitude of channels of business that you're doing, there's a very intentional crossover and parallel in which they're run, and there's a huge complement between them. So there's like a nice, natural, organic crossover that allows for better distribution for you, an easier distribution.
I get it, but that's not saying that one isn't distribution and that one is distribution. They're both distribution. You're just defining down to the kind of distribution that you like.
No, I agree. Yeah. No,
And
I
to
agree.
be fair, the example that I brought forward of Meta, I was saying that their lasting power, their moat, is the fact that they have that distribution.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah. But I was just saying,
You're
like,
just,
I didn't
you're just
want.
trying to argue. Yeah.
No. What I was saying is, like, I didn't want people to confuse that with us saying Meta is a distribution channel. You were actually saying it from Meta's perspective.
Yeah.
The moat,
Their moat,
which
is
I
that
agree
they-
with.
their distribution.
Yeah.
They
That's
can
what I was trying to
distribute
clear up.
larger and better than anyone else. They
Yeah.
have the network.
Yeah.
That makes
Cool.
sense.
You
All
get
right.
it.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys all for tuning in. Bryan had to leave early, but let's go ahead and wrap this show up. So for Mr. John Robin, the Andrew Loving Survival King, Amer Grosnich, the Prince of Bosnia, Bryan McDonald, the funniest dude on LinkedIn who is no longer here right now, and then my name is Jimmy Kim, the email guy and the coolest guy on this pod. With that, guys, thank you guys for tuning in to this kind of long pod. Hopefully you got the value out of it. Hopefully there's something interesting that we told you. At least we told you. And if you come to us and you got to the end of this pod right now and you've asked us, what do we do? And we've given you a YouTube link and you've shown up here and you've listened to all this, then thank you, because now you know what's going on in our lives and you don't have to ask us that. We can move forward and talk about other stuff. With that being said, see you at Commerce Roundtable, guys. Happy whatever day it is, and see you later. Adios.
Welcome to the awesome pod where we talked a lot. Ecom was the path that we walked a lot. But now the question is, will you subscribe or not?